Well, we just mentioned a bit here on the likes of John Henry Vaughan. Sadly, we're led to believe Tiny was telling us now from Tiny's pit box that he will not be out on the circuit. I hope that Tate Bishop will be out there because, as I said, he's a Western Province and SA champion. I just got confirmation from Francois Butler that sadly this young man that we sang his praises will not be out there. But Gary, whichever way you slice it and dice it, this is going to be amazing, amazing stuff. All I can say, Gazza, is they must not try and play Demolition Derby in the opening lap. Otherwise, it's going to fall apart.
Are you referring to two of the front runners in Class A from a couple of races towards the end of last year?
No, I'm actually referring to the entire GTI Challenge field, classes A, B, and C for that matter. They just need to look after themselves and each other for the opening lap, all of them.
Just checking, because we've had a bit of slice and dice up on the front end of Class A at one stage of the fight.
No, what you're saying is true for sure.
Yeah, it went from nibble and nip to slice and dice. So yeah, let's check how that one works. So Clinton Bezuidenhout, the new man down in Cape Town, was the Mint Rapworks sponsored car. Clinton Bezuidenhout on the front row of the grid, and then the man that was involved with the incident with Clinton Bezuidenhout at the last event, where Clinton Bezuidenhout ended up with a flat wheel in heat number 1, and that was after contact going down into turn number 1. Nathan Victor comes right up onto the line. Kai van Zyl is in there as well. The 44 Euroblitz car is standing just a little bit further back. That's Dylan Jabé. Then the 41, that is Boosie. And that's Marco. His younger brother, busy studying. So we don't see him out there at all on a regular basis. Charles Visser, a little bit further back. He's not right up front at all. Then we got Geldenhuys Cup. Now, the interesting piece is going to be Class B, because Kalfay I don't see on the list at all. Mohammed Kalfay. We've got Zaki Hendricks, Carl Wilcher, Ryan van Eden, Brent van Escape. Mohammed Kalfay was written in, and he was the biggest competition for the man in the yellow mean machine at the last event. Now Carl Wilcher, ex-Class C, up into Class B, missed the last event. He is back out there again. So that's going to make for interesting stuff. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 Class A cars. Frankie, what do we say? I say nothing until such time as we see how it pans out. All I say is let's hope everybody stays on track. It's virtually impossible in this Class A group.
Well, a lot of the Class B names that we mentioned, like a good few of them are not out there. It's a pity, though, because it would have just bolstered Class B. But I can tell you, basically everybody in Class A is out, and it's going to be phenomenal stuff.
The only one that's actually missing there is, well, down towards turn number 1 they go, and well, who's it going to be? Clinton Bezuidenhout comes in behind Umpi Swart. Nathan Victor tries to move across towards the inside line. The Euroblitz car's getting blocked out there completely. He's got nowhere to go. Carl van Zyl having a look around the outside. Carl Wilcher in Class B, Frankie, leads down from Zaki Hendricks into turn 1.
Well, through turn 1 they come now as they make their way down into turn number 2. This Class A brigade working its way through, and they are sliding out there already as they work their way out of turn number 2. And we got a challenger for second. It is Bezuidenhout that loses that second position as they work their way through. Then it's side by side as well, just behind them. We've got Charles Visser and we've got Nathan Victor in the house as well, as these boys work their way out of Interceptor Corner, up the hill towards turn 4 sidle sweep.
Zaki Hendricks lost out 2 positions. It's Carl Wilcher that's gone to the front end of the field. He's got Ian Cup behind him. Through Interceptor they go out into the back main. Class A, it's the Bullion IT car of the man that started on the front row of the grid. In there behind him is the 41 of Boosie. Boosie's already worked his way right up towards the front end of the field. Kai van Zyl having a pretty decent run. Nathan Victor's dropped a little bit down as they work their way to Cape Town Corner. The Class B battle. Wilcher is getting it all right.
Right, as they come down towards us now, this is the Class A guys. We'll pick up the Class B and C at this point in time. It is a Yuri Swart that sits out there in P1 with Marco Busi in second, followed there by Clinton Besaidnout. Then a Charles Visser, Nathan Victor coming through. Then Kai van Sail sits in there behind Nathan Victor. Dylan Jabir busy working his way through this pack as well. Then Ian Cup heading towards a turn number 1. Then behind them you've got the leaders of Class B going there into turn 1. That is Carl Walsher. You've got the change of surface flag out here for turn number 1.
Yeah, well, the rain's starting to come down. Just a light smattering on the window as they work their way down towards Interceptor Corner. Umpi Swart from pole position. Marco Busi, they did say before the time, my head wasn't right in it when I did the qualifying. I know I've got more pace out there. He worked his way up very quickly into that second position. And Besaidnout, well, it hasn't worked out the way he would want. He's down in that third position. Visser's moved up already into fourth. Nathan Victor dropping down 1 to 5th. The Class B battle with Zaki Hendricks running wide in lap number 1, turn number 2. Dropping down behind Walcher and Van Eerden. Zaki Hendricks finds himself in third ahead of Sandenberg Jr.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that Class B bunch that's working its way out of turn number 4. Sidle sweep heading down the back straight. Carl Walcher sits out there in P1. And then behind him, it is Ryan van Eerden. Behind van Eerden, it is Zaki Hendricks as they work their way down. Donnie Sandenberg Jr. as the windscreen wipers on going down the back straight. Then behind them, you've got the 31 car that's coming through there. That could be De Silva. No, that's not De Silva. That's Mark Fontini. And Mark Fontini sits P1 in Class C as they race down towards turn 5, Fostron Corner.
Yeah, Daniel Mooner in there behind Van Eerden, and that behind Fontini, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st in class. Going down towards turn number 2, the Bullion IT pole sitter is doing it all right as the drops on the window get more and more. Change of surface. It's not sand and muck. Oh, completely sideways. Clinton Besaidnout. Completely sideways, and it's Nathan Victor that scores out of that one. Nathan Victor up on the outside line as they go through the kink. It's very dangerous to go through there side by side. Nathan Victor not inclined to back out, neither is Besaidnout. They fight one another. Busi gets open ground to go and have a look to see if he can catch Umpi Swart.
Right, so then we've got behind that lot as they work their way towards turn number 4, Charles Visser. Charles is busy making
Sorry, Frankie, Zaki Hendricks has gone off. Zaki Hendricks has gone off in turn 2. He drops completely back. It's Walcher from Cup.
So down the back main, we've got this next fight heading down the back straight there. That is Charles Visser down the back main. Then he has got right in there with him, he's got Geldenhuis racing down, and right behind Geldenhuis is Kai van Sail. That's a group of 3 that's busy working their way now out of turn number 5, out of Fostron Corner, as it's getting very, very real. That's a group of 3 cars that the people at home can see on their screen. The windscreen wipers on. Here they come down towards us. We'll have a look at this fight. Here they come. Here they come towards us. It is Skull Geldenhuis, Kai van Sail, and right on the outside towards the wall of Charles Visser. They are side by side as they race down into turn number 1, and chasing them down is Dylan Jabir.
It's amazing that they got through there. Visser was almost bundled towards the outside. He climbed on the brakes a little bit quicker. If you look very closely on the entrance to turn number 1, there's a lot of gravel that's there. He backed out of that brilliantly, did Visser, and he didn't lose hardly any ground whatsoever. Going down towards Interceptor Corner, up, dust, and disappear away. Busi can't get to him. Besaidnout in that third position. Nathan Victor had a look at him on the previous lap through the exit of turn number 2, but couldn't make it stick. Geldenhuis and the man that's with Geldenhuis is Kai van Sail. The two of them are having a lovely battle as they work their way past the main grandstand and through Sarl Sweep.
Yeah, leading Class C is Mark Fontini, Dylan van Eerden, Matthew Rowe, Daniel Muna, and Faisal Jacobs. But let's have a look at that Class A fight. Well, it's petered itself right out now as they're heading into Fostron Corner. And you've got to catch the Bullion IT man that sits out there, an Umpini Motors driver. That is Yuri Umpi Swart. As they work their way out of turn 5, coming down towards us. Marco Busi has lost the circuit. I picked it up there as they work their way out of 5.
Yeah, it was Marco Busi that went a little bit wide, and that cost him. And that's going to cost him big time, because that means Kunde Bezuidenhout moves up, Nathan Victor moves up as well. Only then does Busi come through ahead of Geldenhuys, Van Zyl, Visser, and then Joubert finds himself 1 lap down. Let's go back to that Class B battle. Carl Wiltshire doing a brilliant job of it. He started on the front row of the grid alongside Zaki Hendricks. Cup initially got past him. Zaki went wide. Both Wiltshire and Cup went past Hendricks. Hendricks went off a second time. Wiltshire coming through below us now. And Wiltshire has got himself in a very decent position. He's got 1.6 seconds from Ryan van Eerden. And then only a little bit further back from there is a Class A car. Then is the first of the Class C cars. And only then do we get to Zaki Hendricks and Sandenberg Jr.
Right, so the leader of Class C is Mark Fontini, as Mark is working his way now towards turn number 2. And he's got Dylan van Eerden just there behind him. So any mistake there by him, Dylan van Eerden can come through. Then we've got the lost Class B car, that is Zaki Hendricks, that is in there. And then Matthew Rowe sits in there as well, and he sits behind the combination of Hendricks and Dani Sandenberg Jr., and he is in P16, but his 3rd overall is Matthew Rowe.
Moving down towards turn number 2, across the start-finish line, that is Umpi Swart. Here's the Battle Royal. It's Bezuidenhout in 2nd. It is Nathan Victor in the Summit Racing. It has a look on the outside of Kunde Bezuidenhout. Then it is the recovering Marco Busi. Bezuidenhout gets it very neat going into the corner, takes a bit of space between himself and Nathan Victor, but Nathan Victor definitely has the pace to put pressure onto Bezuidenhout, and enough at the moment to stay ahead of Busi. But Busi is getting back into his rhythm. That 3-way battle going through turn number 2, not to be dismissed whatsoever.
Yeah, and then the other one that's just in there behind them, that one has been led out there by Kai van Zyl from Skalk Geldenhuys and Charles Visser, followed by Dylan Joubert. That's another fight raging into Interceptor Corner in that Class A war that is making its way up the Tygerberg Straight towards a double right-hander, Sadel van der Merwe sweep.
Class B battle going down towards turn number 2. Wiltshire's getting a lot of pressure from Van Eerden. When they came across the line, there was 0.22 of a second between the two of them. Wiltshire takes the wider line, and as he comes out of the corner, and I do think that Van Eerden has got the same pace as more water comes down. It abated for a little bit, now it's getting a bit wetter, so the wet weather specialists will be in a very decent situation now to try and recover something with 3 laps to go. Class A coming up past the start-finish line from pole and still leading, Umpi Swart.
Let's have a look and see what's happening there in a Class B as they work their way down the back row straight. Oh, Carl Wiltshire using the circuit and more. He's got Ryan van Eerden right there with a 28 car on his back bumper as they work their way down the back straight. Then we've got Ian Cup, and then behind Ian Cup we've got the Class C leader, that's Mark Fontini, that's working his way down towards a turn number 5 Fostron corner as the leader of Class C is way down the road ahead of Matthew Rowe, that's there in that 2nd position.
Well, Charles Visser, that was only on the 4th row of the grid, has now posted the fastest lap time out there, and that being a 1:31.964. So with the others fighting it out in reasonably close proximity to one another, Charles Visser getting his rhythm very neatly as the track gets wetter and starts putting up some pretty good lap times. Down the back main, the Bullion IT car leading out from the wrap of Bezuidenhout. He's now got a bit of space between himself and the Summit Racing car of Nathan Victor. Behind Nathan Victor, the recovering Marco Busi, who will not be very happy because he started a long way back down in 5th, 6th, 7th position, got himself up to 2nd, a very good looking 2nd at that, then went wide and dropped down to 4th. And I don't think he's with 2 to go. I don't think he's going to get any better than what he's got right now.
So let's have a look and see what's happening out in Class C. While he's busy working his way up the Tygerberg Straight towards turn number 4, the double right hand. He's light years down the road. He's Class C leader Mark Fontini working his way out of Sadel van der Merwe sweep now. heading down the back straight. He sits there behind Ian Cup as they head down the back main towards turn number 5, Fostron corner. Matthew Rose in second position, but Matthew is far behind him as there comes Matthew Rose down the back straight now. Then behind him he has got Zaki Hendricks, and Zaki is sitting in P14, but he's third in Class B.
On the last lap they are now. Let's go through towards the main grandstand side of things. Umpi Swart goes through. Kinder Bezuidenhout has got close attendance. He's got the Summit Racing car of Nathan Victor. Nathan sticks his nose in. You can't go side by side in the wet into 4. And it's a very, very brave move between the two of them. It's still Bezuidenhout from Nathan Victor as they work their way down the back main. I think that there's one last gasp for Nathan Victor, and I think he's going to go for it. Down into Cape Town corner. Bezuidenhout closes the inside line. The Summit Racing. Nathan Victor has a look around the outside, but I think Bezuidenhout is all good. Bezuidenhout is all good. Frankie Umpini Motors, Umpi Swart coming up towards the line.
The man from Bullion IT and also from Durant Motorsport brings it home in P1. It is Swart that comes home in P1. Then it's Geldenhuys right on his case there. We have got Nathan Victor, Marco Busi coming through, and then the rest of the field coming through as well. Kai van Zyl won that second fight towards the line there, just ahead there of Skalk Geldenhuys, and then behind him was Charles Visser, followed there by Dylan Jabber.
Class B battle going down now towards Cape Town corner. Still Carl Wiltshire with Van Eeren in there behind him. The rain's coming down more and more. This last little piece is going to be very treacherous. Wiltshire must not make a mistake because Van Eeren is right there with him. They're going to come out towards us now. Look at that. As the closest he's been up until now. Wiltshire's going to have to keep the hammer down. Wiltshire will make it to the line. Yes, he will. He will beat Van Eeren as they come across the line. And that'll be first and second in Class B.
Young Cup finishing his race, and right behind him is your Class C winner, Mark Fontini, in the Goffin Cooper car. He comes home first in Class C. Working his way towards us now, here is Zaki Hendricks. He will come home and finish his race. He will finish third in Class B. Then second in Class C, crossing the line now, that's Matthew Rowe. Here comes Donnie Sandenberg Jr., and he's got Dylan Van Eeren there with him. Daniel Muna also finishes his race, and I think the last man on the lead lap, or he might be a lap down, will be Faisal Jacobs. Wow, that is brilliant stuff out there. Alert Engine Parts GTI Challenge. Right, folks, we're going to take a bit of a lunch break, and then we'll see you afterwards with the Formula Libras. But in the lunch break,